a slam dunk. It's a touchdown. Nope. MMA Lockup, the season that never ends.
What up, MMA Lockup crew? This is MMA Lockup with Bernard Oliver and Jeremy Hurt. Guys, make sure you go like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, both of those at MMA Lockup. Follow Jeremy on Twitter, at Jeremy Hurt.
2 T's.
Follow me on Twitter, at Bernard_Oliver. Guys, we got a packed show this week. We're going to start off with a little bit of news, a couple of current events, and then we're going to talk about Alexander Gustafsson made a big move. First off, Ben Rothwell. Big Ben Rothwell got popped for high, elevated testosterone levels. Not looking too bad for him right now. He says that he says he didn't know anything about it, but, they didn't, it was said in the article that I read that they said that he warranted some kind of punishment, but it wasn't extreme. I don't really know what that's supposed to mean, but I guess we can go read the official report on that. You guys can go look that up. Matthew Riddle returns to the MMA world, comes out of retirement to fight at Bellator 109 on November 22nd, 2013. That would be this year, if you were out of the loop. He returns on what Jeremy said was the 50th anniversary of the JFK assassination.
It's true. You made that sound like it was something I came up with that. I'm pretty sure you can wiki that.
Oh, no. I just meant that it was, one of those cool facts that you can kind of bring out for that day. On this day in 1985.
63. Close.
No, I wasn't talking about that. I was making an example. And the main event on that card is going to be Vitaly Monakov challenges Alexander Volkov, the two Russians going at it in Bellator. So the heavyweight division is going to get shaken up pretty soon here for you guys. Back to Alexander Gustafsson, though. Alexander Gustafsson leaves Alliance MMA for a couple of reasons, mainly because he believes that he and Phil Davis are probably going to meet in the cage pretty soon, and as friends, they don't really want to meet. But that's something that's going to happen in the future. And also, the commute seems to be costing him a lot of money, and, he's away from his family.
I can kind of buy the second rationalization. I don't like the first one that much. I mean, that's what the sport is. You're going to have to fight someone you know, someone you train with, someone you like at some point. And, that's one of those cross that bridge when you get there type deals. But, I mean, Sweden... Honestly, I understand the second rationalization a little bit. You want to stay close to your family, but crap, find somewhere for them to stay in the States whenever you're training, because the difference in level. I mean, Alliance MMA, we were going over their roster earlier. They got a gang of killers in that joint. Like, who is he going to get that's that level that's going to push him? You just almost beat John Jones, the most dominant guy in the world right now. You almost beat him just now. I don't think it's time to rest on your laurels, man. You got to get over that hump. You got to become yourself the most dominant fighter in the sport. Are you going to get that in Sweden? Really?
I don't think so. That's one of the things when you say Sweden, it doesn't jump out. I mean, Sweden is a cool place, and we actually met some guys from Sweden when we went to UFC 162. Great place, nice reporters, nice fighters, but you're not going to get the training. Just to name some of the guys he trains with: Dominic Cruz. WEC UFC bantamweight champion, current champion. He's been hurt for 2 years, but he's still champion. He's still Dominic Cruz. Phil Davis, top 5 light heavyweight. Alexander Gustafsson was on that roster with these two guys, and it's like, dude, you have 2 champions already. Joey Beltran, Mike Easton, top 10 guy. Ed Radcliffe, Carrie Vera, Brandon Vera's wife. Brandon Vera, if I didn't say him. I believe Alliance was started by Brandon Vera and a partner of his. Jorge Ortiz, Ross Pearson, Phil DeFries, Miles Fury Jury, Mike Chandler, Chris Lieben. Good grief, dude.
Yeah,
How could you leave that gym?
You go down that list, like I said, that's a gang of killers. And again, I'm not dumping on Sweden. There are a lot of good kickboxers over in that region. You look at UFC since day one, there have been Norwegian kickboxer type guys at the top level. If I'm not mistaken, the first aired fight in UFC history was a Norwegian kickboxer kicking a dude's tooth out, So, they've got that legacy and everything, but you just listed a whole bunch of reasons why I think Alliance is clearly better,
it's not really the Sweden, it's more of his gym. Are you going to get that many champions?
How much better is he over his last, since he's been with Alliance, since he lost to Phil Davis? How much better is his game? And we saw it against John Jones. Like, how much improved is that guy over the years? There's no question.
He's jumps and strides above where he was before he started training with Phil. He only had one loss, and it was to Phil Davis. He trains with the guy who beat him, and, he goes and makes this, the relationship that they have. I would think that, the relationship between teammates, you could, kind of like you said, weather that storm when it gets there.
Yeah, I mean, they might have to fight each other in the future, but teammates fight each other sometimes, and even ex-teammates fight each other sometimes, and very rarely does anyone ever go, well, I would have beaten him if I hadn't been training with him all of this time. You know what I mean? It's not... When cross that bridge when you get there, man. If it comes out and Dana and Joe Silva come to you and say, hey, we need you to fight Phil Davis next, then you say, okay, look, Phil, we got to come to some sort of arrangement, or, one of us needs to take a break from the alliance, or whatever the case may be, however this needs to work out. I mean, it's clearly not the same thing, but you watch Ultimate Fighter, these guys are training, like, living in the same house with each other, and then fighting each other on a day's notice. That's the game. At some point, it's not about, this isn't a fist fight. You're not going out there because someone dissed your wife. You're going out there because this is your job. You're playing, you wouldn't say, well, I can't hang out with you because we might have to play a game of horse next week. It just... you cross that bridge when you get there. And again, it's not the same thing. There's a little bit more to it than that, but you cross that bridge when you get there to me. Your career is more important. Big picture, your career is more important than what conflicts may possibly arise from a potential matchup down the line.
Exactly. And I'm not a pro fighter by any stretch of the means. I mean, I'm amateur right now. But at the same time, our coach at our gym says, he's like, hey, man, you guys got to fight each other. You got to go out there and fight each other. That's why we competition spar at the gym. We don't spar like we're friends. You have to go 100%. I mean, we get Vaselined up, headgear, all that, full gear on, and you're going at it. I feel like a lot of people in MMA do that too, especially in Brazil. A lot of guys go full strength in sparring. That's why you get injuries and things like that, kind of crazy stuff they do in Brazil. But it's just kind of weird to me. You got to be... As an MMA fighter, I would feel like you have to be just as hungry as a boxer. It doesn't matter if you got to fight that guy that you train with all the time. I mean, what can they really do to exploit you? So he knows you like to throw rights, and so he's going to avoid the rights. So don't, game plan against that. Just go out there and fight. Don't game plan. I wouldn't say game plan. Go out there and fight and be the fighter that you are. I mean, nobody can game plan for everything. Nobody can game plan everything that's going to happen. You could game plan for USC when they were on that tear in college football. Was it going to help, though?
That's the thing. Like, if anything, you can say, well, if nothing else, if you're training with a guy day in, day out, he knows where your weaknesses are in each facet. But, that's life. If you're fighting someone that's competent, they're probably going through your old film, and they're going to figure out a few things on their own. You got to train to cover up. That should make you stronger. If you're fighting someone that knows where you're weak, that should make you stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely. I just don't. Only Alexander Gustafsson knows what's best for him, and I do understand having to come from Sweden and live in California for months at a time away from his family is probably not the greatest thing. So, I understand that, but it's just kind of crazy to me, man. He's tenfold gotten better, and I guess he feels like he can bring the guys that he needs into Sweden. So best of luck to Alexander Gustafsson, man. I would have loved to see him rematch John Jones, but it looks like Teixiera is up next on February 1st, Super Bowl weekend.
I don't know. I just don't see that fight being anywhere. I don't know.
No, it's not.
It's not the same
fight.
I agree.
I totally agree with you. I don't think that Gustafsson Jones is going to be topped by Teixiera Jones by any stretch of it. I mean, Glover doesn't have Gus's tank. He is a great boxer, and I love Glover Teixeira, but I do not think that John Jones is going to be tested by somebody like Glover because he was tested by Gustafsson. Now he knows that he's vulnerable. He's not perfect anymore. He doesn't have perfect takedown defense. I feel like he's going to be hungry again. If he ever lost any hunger, I'm not saying he did. If he ever lost any hunger, I feel like that it's going to come back now.
Since the very first time I saw John Jones fight, the one thing that to me was just glaringly obvious is he's physically in a different class than everybody in that class, except for Gustafsson, because he's so big and long. I don't understand it. This is a different sport, It's just, and I've told you this is my theory many occasions. The future of this sport, what we're seeing shake out, the body type that's going to play in this sport long term are those guys that are big and really long, because you learn how to control the distance, and once you do that, really shifts the scale so much. Depends, maybe their wrestling's a little better, maybe their striking's a little better, but if you can keep them on the outside, it doesn't really matter. If you look, the most efficient, most effective guys in this sport are the ones who are able to keep you on the outside and strike from the outside, get in, get out. And to me, against Glover, man, Jones has that all day. I think Glover's a heck of a fighter. I've been a fan of his for a while. It's a matchup. Matchups make fights. You say that before every single fight that you want to break down. Matchups make fights, and in this fight, I see Jones completely control the distance. I don't see Glover getting inside at all, and I don't think it's the same fight. I really don't. I don't think it's that great of a fight.
See, I won't say that it's not a great fight, but I think it's going to be over early, and I think Jones is going to pull out early. I just see if it goes for 3 rounds, I see Glover not being able to be conditioned enough for it. And once his condition goes, and John Jones is still over there hopping around in round 3, it's over and done with. I mean, once your conditioning goes, man, it's bad. And I don't know if it's something he can work on or if it's something that he's going to have to prepare for. But Gustafsson jumped around for 4 rounds, and that's a lot of movement to be jumping around. Oh, and not only that, avoiding John Jones while doing that.
He still had some pretty good stumbly jumping going on in the 5th.
Yeah, but he caught that elbow, though.
Changed things a little.
In the 4th, it was pretty much a sealed deal after he caught the elbow. But, yeah, guys, we're going to get on to the next segment here. We've got Don McGuire coming up. We've got Dr. Gary Furness. We've got a plethora of people from The Ultimate Fighter that we're going to be dropping interviews with on you guys. What was that?
It's pletherous. I just made that up. That's a new
word. I'm pretty sure plethora is already plural.
No, pletherous, like O-U-S at the end. Our show today is pletherous.
That sounds like Latin. Is that Latin?
It's something. Hurting.
Sure. Regardless, guys, we've got Modafieri coming up. Did I say her name right? I'm pretty sure.
Yes, you did.
Yes, awesome. I hope she doesn't kill me when I see her.
I don't know why I said that. Yes, of course you did. I think so.
We've got a couple of people from We've got a couple of people from Tough on the show this week. Guys, we've got a packed show. We can't wait to get some content out to you guys. There's probably going to be a little more content online this week than on the show, but we've definitely got so much.
Jessica
we got Mikey Beltran. You said what?
Jessica Sarkozy, who beat Roxanne Modafieri.
Yes. Did you mumble that?
On The Ultimate Fighter. Mike Beltran. We got real good content. Make sure you check out the website, folks.
Yeah, because we're gonna upload all this stuff. Whatever doesn't make it into the show is definitely gonna be online, and you might catch it next week. That's probably kind of weak if we did that, though, right? Yeah.
No, we don't do that. We don't roll that way. Check the website. We're ripping Jon Stewart off here. We got extra content. Website only.
All right, guys. When we get back, Don McGuire, UFC combat sports photographer, will be joining us. Make sure you go like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at MMALockup on both of those, at Jeremy Hurt,
2 T's,
and at Bernard_Oliver.